but it's that feeling of danger that adds to the eroticism of it. That's why BDSM is kind of weird. It's like this kind of middle place where it's like you're doing really fucked up shit, but in a loving way. That ambivalence is part of what makes it sexy. Hey guys, Hector Castillo-Poppy from girlschase.com here for the BDSM Bible section on choking and muffling. So I always advise that you watch part 1 and part 2 before you watch this. In part 1, we go over the mentality of being a dom, and that's what our goal is here, to be dominant over the girl. If that's not your thing, then this is not the video for you. And I go over the mentality and how you can be the best dom you can be and get the right energy going so that when you do all this kinky shit, it feels good for you and her. And also watch part number 2 where I go over how to do things that are a little bit more kinky and how to be safe and make sure that she's cool with it and is enjoying it. So if you have any comments about that, that's for part number 2. We're just getting straight into how to do it properly. So first, it's safety. We want to go over with choking and with muffling as well. So muffling, for those of you who don't know, is when you put your hand over her mouth and you muffle her. So choking, when you want to be safe, obviously, while you're choking her, what you want to make sure is that you're squeezing. I mean, there can be some play of asphyxiation, a word always fucking sucks. Asphyxiation, where you are kind of actually choking her, but you need to be super careful with it, especially when you're on top, because your body weight can go into your, if you don't know how to like properly, displace your body weight, you can lean too much into it and you can actually really start choking her and making her cough, and she won't be able to breathe. And maybe in the midst of sex, it can kind of, you're probably not going to do anything too dangerous unless you're incredibly fucking stupid. But in the midst of sex, things can get crazy, and you do it too hard, and she starts coughing and choking, and it's not too pleasant unless you guys, when you get into that really like you're starting to actually be physically dangerous, then you really need to talk about it and be very careful and be watching her and making sure she's enjoying it. However, for the most part, the choking is just going to be squeezing on the side of it. It's more of the feeling of someone choking you rather than literally being choked out like you're doing jujitsu. So you're squeezing the side of her neck and not pressing against the trachea. The trachea is right here, okay, where your Adam's apple is. For the girl, she doesn't have an Adam's apple, but yeah. So don't press against it because then you start to jump, right? Just squeeze, and you can go light, hard. Again, we've gone over that in the second video. You need to be careful with how much you do it. But just if she feels uncomfortable, then of course stop or lay off the pressure. But the feeling of being choked is what makes it erotic, right? The feeling as if someone is dominating you and even hurting you. That's part of what makes BDSM sadomasochism, right? Sadism is the desire to inflict pain. And masochism is the desire to have pain inflicting upon you. And during sex, especially kinky sex, pain and pleasure can become intermingled and one can become the other. So when you are giving her this more of a, it's more of a mental pain rather than a physical pain. It's the feeling of someone is ravaging you and just taking advantage of you and totally fucking the shit out of you. So when you feel like you're getting choked, she's going to, as the submissive, feel like she's totally under your control, and you can do anything you want to her, and she's your little whore, she's your property, and if you want to, slap around and choke her and do whatever you want, you have that control and that feeling of loss of control. I mean, imagine if someone just randomly walked up to you and put their hand on your throat. You'd be like, what the fuck? And start swinging, right? It's a primal response of fight or flight. Well, that same feeling is going to be in her mind, but she's going to be wanting it and desiring it because you're someone that she trusts, but she can feel momentarily kind of in danger. And that dangerous feeling is part of what makes masochism hot for the submissive. So choking can be very, very fucking erotic. I say most girls enjoy it, especially when you're fucking hard. It makes a great addition to when you're going really hard in sex. But you could be doing light sex and just kind of lightly put your hand on her neck, especially when you're starting off kind of slow or you're not too comfortable doing it and you want to test her out and see if she's enjoying it. It's more of the mental feeling. But if you do want to get more intense with it, of course, be careful, but you can start to squeeze harder on the side, right? Or a little bit of pressure on the trachea, but be very careful with it. And it can also give you a good grip to, you can kind of use it to pull down and to add to your thrusting and add some momentum to your fucking and really fuck her hard. Now, positions that you're doing it, the best positions are, of course, missionary. That's the normal you think of it. But actually, there's another one where I really, really love is when she's on her side and she has one leg up. So to kind of demonstrate like this, right? And it's a great view of her ass if she has a nice ass. And it gives you really great position and you get deep into the pussy. But what's great about this position is that it gives you the view of kind of doggy style, but then you can get up close and personal with her and you can start kissing her and you can actually start choking her. So she's on the side getting fucked and then you put your hand around and you can start choking her from there. And this is actually a better position to choke because then you don't have the risk of you putting all of your weight down onto her like you in missionary and possibly, you know, going too far. So you don't put the weight on her trachea, but then you still have the feeling of her being choked out. So it's super fucking sexy. Now, muffling, what makes muffling sexy is the same thing. Someone is controlling your mouth and your ability to speak. So it kind of feels like, I don't know, in some weird, like you're being fucking kidnapped or something, you know. It's the feeling of loss of control. That's what a lot of submissive and masochism are distinct things, but part of being an extreme sub is being a little bit masochistic and having the person controlling you and controlling your senses and your actual free will. So when you have a hand over her mouth, you can't speak and you can't so she can't scream, right? The thinking obviously can get very dark, but of course you're in a safe place and you care about her. But it's that feeling of danger that adds to the eroticism of it. That's why BDSM is kind of weird. It's like this kind of middle place where it's like you're doing really fucked up shit, but in a loving way. That ambivalence is part of what makes it sexy. So it can also serve a practical purpose because let's say you're somewhere where you don't want to be too loud, but you're fucking her good, and so she's going to just want to, you know, let out that energy. You can put your hand over her mouth. So she can scream really loud, but then you don't wake up your neighbors. If your walls are really thin, that's a big one that I've seen where the girl is just like, ah. You know, some girls can be very exaggerated with it. She's fucking screaming, and you know, it's like 3 a.m. and I was just like, fucking Jesus. And after I had one time, the landlord called me and said, Hector, I think you have your TV too loud. He must have thought I was watching porn or something, right? And I just said to him, I'm doing something personal. that was my smoothest way of explaining it. And there was just this awkward fucking silence. He was like, okay, bye. Just hung up the phone. He knew what I was talking about. But, you know, it's when you hear someone banging on the wall because you're being too loud because you're fucking a girl. I mean, it's good for your reputation. I mean, maybe everyone knows you're fucking her really good, especially if you have some cute neighbors and you want to let them know that you're fucking a girl, and maybe they see you walking out with her, and now she's like, wow, this guy gets pussy, he gets good pussy. So you might not want to muffle a girl, but in practical situations or for fun, it can be really, really sexy. And the only safety thing here is, of course, that she can breathe. As someone who has a deviated septum, I know that if you were to cover my mouth, my breathing sometimes would be good, and sometimes I'd be fucking struggling to breathe and have to. So that was like, I was just like imagining if I got kidnapped or something. Like, that was always a big fear of mine. Is I would get fucking kidnapped. They'd put like tape on my mouth, and I'd be in the fucking trunk, and I'd die because I'd be like, because I fucking have boogers in my nose, and it's all fucking, it's allergy season, and I'm like, right. So yeah. Anyways, don't be careful with if she has fucking allergies and deviated septum, or be careful that while you're putting your hand, while you put your hand over her mouth, you don't go too high and you actually start to block her nostrils, right? Because then I've had girls, I'm like putting my hand over their mouth and I'm like, what? And it's like I couldn't breathe, and I realized I was getting really into it. And I had my hand over her nostrils as well, and then she literally just can't breathe, and it's insane asphyxiation. Fuck that word. So that's where you need to be careful with it. Now, I'm reliving some memories. you can put them together and you can do the Wombo Combo. So my favorite part is that position where she's on her side and she has one knee up and her ass is on beautiful display, and you can reach around and you can choke her and you can like kiss her on the cheek and you can like whisper sweet nothings to her or call her a whore. And what you can do is you can have one hand, your left hand, on her throat, and then your right hand over her mouth. Oh man, it's the sound of a girl like whimpering, not even moaning, but like whimpering as a sadist. It just turns me on so much. So you're choking her, you have your hand over her mouth, and she's just kind of like, I mean, some of you probably think I'm fucked up, but I think it's incredibly fucking hot. So that's the Wombo Combo, and then while you're doing it, she's just getting like, and you can like kiss her on the cheek very softly. You can lick her if you want to be all fucking weird. You can whisper things into her ear. And when you have both of your arms down, then you can actually, because now you have good leverage on the bed or the floor or wherever you're fucking her, and you can really lay into her, and you can use her mouth and her neck as leverage to pull in. And ooh, when it's time to go hard, like that's one of my favorite times. If she's in that position, I have these both and I'm just going away. That's nice, good memories. Okay, cool. So got interesting there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to be safe. Remember to watch parts 1 and 2. They're crucial to understanding all of these videos during the BDSM Bible. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, enjoy choking, enjoy muffling. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.